And why are we choosing sides? This is not an NFL football game where you hate your opponent. It's like we are a common group with a common goal and a common purpose, and we all need each other.
Hey everybody, Neil Wintereg here with Matterhorn Business Development. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a good day. I am joined as always by Dr. Greg Wintereg, CEO of Matterhorn Business Development, author, and international speaker.
That's right.
Welcome. So today,
Today, Neil is going to rant.
I'm going to rant because we were talking off camera, and as I was talking about this, I just kept getting angrier and angrier.
I don't know that I'm even going to be able to get anything.
Shut up. I was in the middle of telling a story.
So, you see what I mean?
So I don't know what we're exactly going to title this video,
Okay.
but I'm getting really frustrated because everybody right now, everybody's pointing fingers at politicians and the right and the left and all this stuff, and everybody's complaining and all this stupid stuff. And what I want to talk about today is I feel like the American business owner and the American worker is basically being legislated to death.
Agreed.
Right?
Yes.
So we're complaining about how people have to work 3 jobs to make ends meet. You know why they have to do that? Because of your stupid government regulations that say people are not allowed to work.
Yeah.
That say, I'm sorry, if you're going to have this job, there's these regulations and you're not allowed to work more than 8 hours a day. Well, what if that person wants to work 8 hours a day?
Or a certain number of hours in a week.
Or a certain number of hours a week. And it would help the employer,
Right.
and it would help the person.
Right.
Because they wouldn't have to get a second job for 10 hours on the weekend if they could simply work an extra hour or 2 each night that they wanted to work,
Right.
and that the business owner wants them to work.
Right.
So yes,
got
there
it.
are people who don't want to work. Stay on your couch and don't leave. I'm fine with that. But to have somebody who wants to work be regulated into not working, and then have an employer who's actually responsible for all these families and all these jobs, then be regulated to death on when they're allowed to have people work or not work, is absolute stupidity. And as a result, it takes away the creativeness and the freedoms of a person to be able to work and provide for their family.
That's right. And you know, even when Neil was growing up, I'll tell you, man, after the age of 12, it was like impossible to keep him interested in school. You were ready to go out, and you were ready to go.
But I wasn't allowed to.
You weren't allowed to. So this is where we had his older brother Vince make pens in a wood shop that we created in our basement, and then Neil sold them for commission.
Right.
There's a guy, it's either in North or South Carolina, who has this outstanding barbecue operation. He does the whole pig, the whole thing. And he was working, I believe it was with his dad or his uncle. And when he was 11, they said, you know what, I got to go do something. It's yours. And so they were gone for the day, and he just he ran the whole thing, and he's been making a living doing barbecue ever since he was like 11 or 12 years old.
Right.
Now it's a good thing the government,
didn't know about it.
Yeah, the regulators didn't know about it, but he's got this huge successful operation. People drive from miles and miles. They come back into town and they buy the barbecue, and he's been doing it ever since he was 11. I think he's like mid-40s now. But then, I mean, to your point, the regulations are there from completely outdated times. Yes, there was the Industrial Revolution, and children were being taken care of.
And I don't think that should be done. Obviously,
we're not agreeing with that.
Right, we're not agreeing with that. Nike does that in Thailand, but we don't do that here. But the point is that these types of regulations kill the ability for people to create and to enjoy life. People actually enjoy working more than most other things that they do. People actually enjoy working and having fun and providing for their families. But when I'm regulated to death about when I'm supposed to work and allowed to work, and what rules and regulations go into me actually being able to make money for my family, there's a word for that we're not allowed to say.
No, we're not going to go there.
But that is what it is.
Yeah.
Because it says
it's restricting freedom.
You are not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Because of this regulation. But the person wants to work for their boss. I was telling Abby, let's say you work somewhere, we're here in Florida, we're in Pinellas County. Let's say I work over in Tampa, and there's all the traffic and there's all the other stuff, and I have to legally leave my job at 5 o'clock, and I have to sit in traffic for an hour and a half. and then I get home at 6:30. What if I stayed and worked until 6:30 and left and got home at 7 o'clock and missed all the traffic, and I was making money, I wanted to be there, but
more
you
productive,
can't, right? But you can't because of this regulation and all these things. And I think that in election time and in all these politics, everybody's pointing fingers at each other. They're all pointing fingers at each other about what this other person did, but really this stuff's been going on for decades, and we're just so over-regulated that it kills the ability of people to be happy because you're not able to do what you want to be doing.
And I also want to throw this in here because you have, you know, the Democrats are supposed to be labor-oriented and the Republicans are more owner-oriented, and it's like, forget all of that, because what that does is it drives a wedge between management and labor.
Right.
And now you have, within a company,
everybody's blaming everybody else.
It's like, wait a minute, guys, our job is to make this product to service the customer. Management has no company without labor, and labor has no job without management. And why are we choosing sides? This is not an NFL football game where you hate your opponent. It's like we are a common group with a common goal and a common purpose, and we all need each other. And if we're looking for the government to regulate in the favor of our side, your business is dead. You're already dead if you're counting on the government. So,
and this is why I think entrepreneurial or entrepreneurialism or whatever you want to say, whatever word that is so important right now, is because it falls into its own realm and its own category, where it's like I can work at home till 2 in the morning if I wanted to. Yesterday was Sunday on Labor Day weekend, and you wanted to do 4 hours on a PowerPoint.
I worked
you
for
weren't
4 hours.
regulated. Imagine you're a company
didn't make me or tell me I couldn't.
Right. But
I wanted to.
Imagine a farmer's only allowed to work 40 hours in his fields.
Yeah, we have no food.
Right. Oh, but we won't give that type of a restriction, but we'll restrict everything else. It's all connected, and it really just pisses me off because it actually makes people unhappy, and it actually makes people have to work harder with 2 or 3 other jobs. If I want to work an extra 10 hours a week, I can't do that where I already work. So now I have to work and find another place on the weekends, and nobody wants to hire you because you just want to work 10 hours a week. And so then you find a little gig over here for a Saturday, and then you find a little gig over here on a Sunday, and it's a pain in the butt. You've got 3 jobs, you got 3 employers, you got 3 tax things, you got all this other stuff, when your main job would gladly hire you for those extra 10 hours if they were allowed to. And it just creates unnecessary crap.
Now those 10 hours can come, but they're going to have to come with another 50% increase in pay.
But you make it
time and a half.
Right, but you make it against the employer's time to be able to do that, because he's also getting extra taxed, and you, the consumer, or the employer, getting extra taxed.
Well, especially now when we're regulating it up to $15 an hour. So $15 an hour all of a sudden becomes $22.50. I mean, so he can't even afford to then. So I guess the point, and we kind of have different angles on this topic. The point that I want to make out of this one is, as a business owner, you need to create this team environment. And if management took full responsibility for labor, and if labor took full responsibility for management, then the entire company, it's synergistic. It's like 2 + 2 = 10. So if everybody created this effort to just deliver the product, just deliver the service. Now I know you're more along a regulation line to this one, but
what I'm saying is that if you have an let's take your opinion. Okay, it's all synergistic. We're here. We have this product, and we're gonna hit this target, and we're gonna hit this deadline, and we got 50 employees, and they want to stay all night and drink Monster Energy drinks and get the goal, but they can't. They're not allowed to. That's BS.
It is,
and that's
BS.
what pisses me off. Is it's like you have people who want to work together and make it happen, but they're not. But they're being told they're not allowed to. You're saying that creation and energy and team building is wrong. That's what that says.
It is,
and it drives me insane because it's a create. Right? You're telling an artist that he's not allowed to paint on more than 1 foot of the wall at one time because it's overtaxing him. Like, no, it's not. It'd be overtaxing for you because you sit on your couch and do nothing all the time. This guy's a painter. This is what he does. It's a completely different philosophy. And that's what, I get where you're coming from, but I'm just saying that it's hard to create a synergistic model where everybody's there for everybody.
You're right.
When it's like, oh, I'm sorry, guys. it's 12 o'clock. We have to stop.
Whistle blows.
Yeah. Everybody leaves. You know, that's what really upsets me.
Yep.
And now it's just becoming a thing where, like you said, it's management against the employers, and the employers want more from the boss, but they're not allowed to give more because the government says you can't.
Right.
And so that's what I have a problem.
Well, the government says you can't. I guess you can, but then the way the regulations are written, you can, but then you can't compete with China, and you go out of business because then your overhead goes through the roof. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, as a worker, even though I get paid more for overtime, I also get taxed more for those overtime dollars, which makes it pointless for me to do that because I'm not actually making as much money working overtime.
But then again comes the government regulation.
Right.
Right.
So I just, all this stuff, and all the finger pointing of all the politics and all this stuff, I think we need to, as business owners, step aside from all this and not say it's the left's fault, the right's fault, or whatever, but we need to come up with solutions to these things so that people can work better and harder and get rid of all this regulation.
And I have said this before, you may or may not have heard me say this, but read my lips. The politician has not been born that can outsmart the entrepreneur. You all can figure this out.
Yeah, we can figure this stuff out, but everybody's saying it's somebody else's fault. We have to take responsibility for it and do something about it ourselves.
You got it.
You know what I mean?
You got it, totally.
So that's kind of my rant. Like I said, I don't know where this fits into, but I just have a problem with people being told when and how to work. When instead of a free choice. And if we all had a free choice of what we worked on and what we did, and we focused on our projects, we'd actually all be happier. And all this turmoil that the media is spreading would dissipate.
And actually, we're in our co-working space here. It's Labor Day. And guess what? We're not the only ones here.
Nope.
There's other people here. I don't see anybody crying. They're not walking around, you know, weeping because they're in here on Labor Day.
They want to be working today.
Everybody here that's working today is pretty happy.
They look pretty good to me.
I'm happy. You happy?
But you see, they are able to decide that because they work for themselves. So they can do that. That's the difference.
You got it.
Anyway, that's all we got to say right now. We could probably talk about this in like a podcast format for a long time.
You could rant for at least another hour.
I have a lot of stuff I wanted to say, and he kept interrupting me. So we'll get it into another video in the future. Anyway, we'll see you all later on this week when our next video comes out. If you're new here, subscribe, hit that like button, share it on social media, whatever. Send me a message on LinkedIn if you want to connect. That's how I interact with most people, is through LinkedIn. So just find me on LinkedIn. I'm there, and I'll see you next time.